rise.
Please be seated.
And please court. For you is Joshua Smith Jr., Sumter County waiver indictment 2022 GS 430974. It is an indictment for criminal conspiracy. In exchange for this plea, Judge, two other charges, accessory before the fact of armed robbery and accessory before the fact of murder, are being dismissed. I will go into a little reasoning of that later. There is a negotiated sentence we'd ask Your Honor to consider.
Sir, raise your right hand. State your name.
Joshua Smith Jr.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony in the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Thank you.
Counsel, you explain the nature and elements of the charges to Mr. Smith.
Yes, Your Honor.
You explain the possible punishment as well as his constitutional rights.
Yes, sir.
And I believe this is a waiver. You explain to him his right to have a case presented in the grand jury.
Yes, sir.
After explaining all this to him, as he indicated he wants to plead guilty.
Yes, sir.
You agree with that decision?
I do.
You are being charged with criminal conspiracy, which carries up to 5 years in prison and not more than $5,000. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, your attorney, actually, Mr. Metters has told me they had a negotiated sentence, and I guess they'll tell me what that total is in a minute. But you understand that you understand, did Laura explain to you what a negotiated sentence is?
Yes, sir.
That I have to sentence you to what they've agreed to, or I just don't have to take the plea at all. But I after discussing it with counsel, I believe I will. Finally, do you understand the nature of the charge against you, the possible range of punishment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney and the way he's advised and represented you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had the opportunity to review all the evidence with him and all the discovery that was provided to him from the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
You need to speak with him anymore. You believe he's done everything he could have and should have done for you in this case?
Yes, sir.
You're completely satisfied with his services?
Yes, sir.
If anyone promised you anything or threatened you in any way to get you to plead guilty other than the plea negotiation?
No, Your Honor.
You understand you have the right to appeal this sentence within 10 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
You enter this plea of your own free will and accord,
Yes, Your Honor.
understanding the nature of the charges and the rights you're giving up by pleading guilty. How do you wish to plead today?
Yes, sir.
Is that you pleading guilty because you're in fact guilty?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll hear from you, Mr. Matters.
May it please the court. Judge, this case is just saying. The victim in this case is Joshua Goodman. He was a 11th grader at Crestwood High School, 17 years of age. For what it's worth, he had according to Mr. Barnes, I've checked with a potential baseball future, not only at Clemson, but probably beyond that. He was an extremely talented athlete. Some point around this time, he got himself in a situation with a young lady who he needed some money. He reached out to Mr. Smith to see if he knew anybody who could buy some marijuana from. Mr. Goodman could buy marijuana from that he could resell for a profit. Mr. Smith did connect Mr. Goodman up with some co-defendants, specifically DeAndre Brown, Jalen Jackson. There are also two other co-defendants, Shanice Bradley and Daquan Washington, but primarily the ones who will go provide the marijuana were Mr. Brown and Mr. Jackson. At some point during this arrangement, it was decided that they weren't going to sell Mr. Goodman marijuana, they were just going to rob him. On April 15th of 2018 at 422 North Magnolia Street, Mr. Brown and Mr. Jackson met Mr. Goodman and another individual, and at that point they did kill Mr. Goodman when they were trying to rob him of his $400. Mr. Smith was not in the car and did not go to the scene where the transaction was going to take place. Judge, after the victim was killed, law enforcement got involved. They found his cell phone and with the help of his girlfriend, were able to unlock it and find messages, and that's where they discovered Mr. Smith and conversations with Mr. Smith, setting up the drug deal and connecting the victim basically with these other individuals from Richland County. Once they did that, they did locate Mr. Smith. He was cooperative, implicated himself in the conspiracy to rob Mr. Goodman, and then also implicated the rest of the individuals. And at that point, once the co-defendants came in, the case came together. The two shooters, if you will, that pled guilty previously and are now serving substantial jail sentences in the Department of Corrections. I don't believe Mr. Smith intended for or knew that Mr. Goodman was going to be killed. He did know that they were going to rob him. The parents in this case of Mr. Goodman, I've reached out, they know this is happening today. Teresa and Robert Goodman, as your Honor knows, in these type cases, you get to really know the family. And I just want the record to reflect it, to be clear, they understand this is going on. They're still hurting, obviously, and they're raising the child that resulted from, well, after the young child was born after he died. But they understand this. They chose not to be here today. Law enforcement is also in agreement with this. It's just saying all the way around. We're doing it as a waiver because the two charges that were previous, obviously the accessory before and the accessory after, we're dismissing those. Mr. Rouse did an excellent job, and of course, client, but we do think the criminal conspiracy for Berkeley, if Your Honor will consider an active youthful offender sentence, 1 to 5 years. We would respectfully request. Thank you. He has not had any convictions since this incident.
So this is the court on criminal conspiracy. Read that the defendant is committed to the State Department of Corrections under the Youthful Offender Act not to exceed 5 years per the negotiated sentence. Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Conyers. Is there any newsworthy events in Williamsburg County? We will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
My name is Aubrey. My name is Reagan. My name is Riley.
And my name is Robert.
For the best news,
Turn down the bass.
push that button and follow us.